Okay, we're recording now. So first of all, thank you so much for giving up your time to come and talk to us today, or this evening, should I say. You know, when I first met you, I was really impressed by the things that you were saying, and I realized that the organization at the time I'm a member of, which is Greenspiracy, we have very sort of simpatico ideas and hopes for the planet as your organization. So my first question to you is, I know that you used to be quite a high flyer in the corporate world, right? What motivated you to give up that career and to set up New World Today? Sorry, New World Together. Hey, you idiot. What motivated you to give up your amazing corporate career to set up New World Together, Ben?
First, thank you for having me, Mary. And that's a very good question. So I was in quite a comfortable lifestyle in my corporate career. I actually stopped at the peak of my career when I was an expert consultant and really living what most people would have considered a dream life. And the reason why I did so is because for me, my dream life was a nightmare because I had to live with the cognitive dissonance of knowing that I am part of a problem that is so much bigger than me and that is sending humanity on the verge of disaster. Because I could really see that the way we were operating in my corporation or the way we were operating collectively as a species are not sustainable on the face of the globe. And so this was really haunting me, knowing that we are heading to our own self-termination and knowing that I was fully part of the problem by doing this job, despite everything that it would bring me. And so after many years of observing how the problem was not being solved and how I was being part of it, it became too much to handle and I decided to quit.
Was there an actual pivotal moment that you can sort of remember that finally was the push that you needed?
Yeah, I went to a meditation retreat because I was becoming so depressed and unstable that I had to do something. So I went to a meditation retreat trying to find inner peace. And what I found during a meditation retreat is a different path, a way out of the insanity in which I was stuck. And that was the beginning of a major turn in my life and the beginning of a major inner transformation that led to the creation of New World Together.
Great. So you've been working really sort of focusing on this really hard now for a few years, haven't you? What's your take on what's going on at the moment? What's the current global situation like, would you say?
I would say that the unsustainability of the old way of doing things and the old way of thinking is becoming more and more clear, whether it's through COVID or through the polarization that we can see in many parts of the world, the collapse of the economy, at least partially, or the signs of collapse, the destruction of the planet ecosystems. There's just a new UN report that comes out and that is extremely dramatic and shows that humanity has not reached has not matched any target since 10 years and is still far below all expectations in there to become sustainable. Mm-hmm. So to me, what we see is a confirmation of the tendency that has been observed in quite some time for people who've been concerned about the problem. And also a rise of consciousness with more and more people understanding that things cannot continue the way they've been going and that we need change. And so we are in a pivotal moment, I think, of human history in which everything is still possible. And we are asked to change, to find new ways of interacting with ourselves, one another, and our environment that are sustainable, but we haven't yet found them. So we have to discover something that we don't know yet. And so I think we really are in this pivotal moment of our human history and not really knowing where things will go.
Right. One of the things I know that you are doing to try and do your part to help people to go through that process is your new program that you've just set up, right, called Keys Within. And I was very, very honored and pleased to go through the first beta version of that with you. I thought your material was really outstanding, Ben. What's your, now it's been finished for what, maybe a week or 2 weeks, is it? It's finished? What's your take on that? What challenges, now you've had chance to touch base with people on the key issues, what would you now say we can do about it? What do we really need to start addressing as a human family?
Well, I think the first thing we need to realize is that right now we are not even dealing with the problem, we are dealing with the emotions triggered by the problem, which means that our level of maturity as a species makes it so that we don't even know how to deal with our emotions yet. And so we are still overwhelmed by our emotions. So I think this is where we are, and I think this is what I observe also with the participants of the quest, is that we are not even yet able to fully take part in being the solution, but we have to deal with the emotions that facing reality brings in us. And I think this is, so I think we are still at a very early stage. On my side, I see that there's really a need to continue and to create more programs, because I would say the Keys Within is a stepping stone, but it's definitely not the end of the journey. It's the beginning of the journey, I would say, on my side. And so, yeah, that's what I'm focusing on right now, is creating new programs that continues the Keys Within, that complete it, to accompany people in this process and basically empower them to be part of the solution.
Were you surprised by the reaction of the participants as they actually faced up to some of the issues that you put before them?
Yes and no. I would say it's more of a confirmation of everything I already know. But I was positively surprised, because I would have expected more people to drop. I would have expected more people to not be able to digest the content, because it's quite blunt. It's quite, in a way, it doesn't really give an escape. It's really, we have to face what is happening. And so I'm positively surprised that so many people stayed, and I'm also very happy to see the community that came out of it. And with this authenticity, this openness, this vulnerability, I think it is very beautiful. But I also realize that there's so much more that needs to be done, and that, again, that's just the beginning.
Right. Well, I found, it was quite challenging actually as well. Some of the content, stirred up some stuff from long ago that I thought that I'd already dealt with. So I was quite taken by surprise by some of my reaction to some of the content. Is it possible to support people like doing this online course? Is it possible to also support people after they've been through this process? As you say, their emotions get churned up,
Yeah. And I think, of course, it is possible, and not only possible, I think it is necessary. So this is why I remain available for all the people and active on all the chat groups, etc. I think one of the key is for us to be able to accept our emotions and our thoughts when they are being triggered. I mean, this program kind of trigger what I would call the shadow, or all the part of ourselves that we don't really want to see. And the best way to integrate these parts, to transcend this part, is acceptance. And that means acceptance of emotions that we don't really want to feel, or thoughts that we don't want to think about. And so, yeah, the key is to really accompany people in the process, and also to support if some are becoming overwhelmed, which I was very happy for those who came to me. And I think also it's the power of the community, because as we are all going through this process together, there's not a feeling of I'm here alone, overwhelmed by all of this, and nobody understands me, nobody understands what I'm going through. I think this is really something we are going through together also as a group.
Through this kind of awakening and this clearing of stuff to help us to face the reality, doesn't that also put us on a collision course with sort of, the powers that be? How do we deal with that aspect of waking up?
I think, again, it's a collision course with reality, is a collision course with the universe, and is an integration of our existence. Mm-hmm. and it's probably the realization that we've been living to many extent, and probably still are to many other extent that have not been untapped yet, in disconnected from our reality. And that means disconnected from our outer reality and from our inner reality. So it's ultimately a collision course with ourselves. And the aim of that is really the reintegration of who we are, refacing ourselves and to integrate who we are. So again, the courage to face whatever gets triggers in the process, and the patience to wait, because such process can sometimes take, a few weeks or sometimes even a few months. This is something that is very transformative, and the body, the mind, the psyche needs space and time to integrate it. So I think probably the difficulty will come if people just don't want this transformation process to be instant and to just feel, it's all perfect and I have all the responses. That doesn't work that way, because this new information, this new perception of reality needs time to be integrated and embodied. So patience is really key, and understanding that the universe is not against us. Reality is not against us. It just has to be embraced as it is, just as we need to embrace ourselves as we are. This is really key to finding the harmony between ourselves and our environment. It's also the ability to accept reality as it is and ourselves as we are in the present moment.
Is there anything else that you want to sort of talk about while we've got this opportunity?
There's many subjects, but for now, I would like to invite the audience to contact us if they want to be part of the next program. I think we are really into something big, and I really want to invite people to join. I think no one who's joined the quest said that they regretted it. I think everybody said that they were shaken, but everybody said that it was really needed and that they are glad they did the quest. So I really want to invite the audience to get in touch with us, to get on board for the next launch of the quest, which is going to be beginning of November. We are ready to provide, and I think this is really something that we will have to go through anyway, sooner or later, this reality that what we are so afraid to face. So if you really want to be part of the solution, genuinely, if you really want to make sense of what is happening on the surface of the globe and understand how you can have a significant impact, this is really for you, and we are really happy to welcome you.
In the contents of the video, I will put how people can make contact with you, Ben. So my final question to you is, how optimistic are you that we can do this, that we can actually move this whole kind of paradigm that stops exploiting the planet and actually starts sharing the planet? How optimistic?
Well, that I could reframe the question and say how optimistic I am that we can be mature enough to face reality and the consequences of our unconsciousness. I am very optimistic. But that said, I know that it's not a given, and I know that it will require efforts and commitments and dedication. So yes, we can, but there's no guarantee that we will do, and this is why we need to be committed to make it happen.
Great. Well, here's good luck to all of us who are on this sort of quest to shift paradigms. Thank you so much for your time, Ben. Have a great rest of the week.
Thank you, Mary.
And I will talk to you soon.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Okay. Bye for now.
Talk to you soon.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye.